Hi, I'm Jocelyn and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is actually my first real video. If you saw my first video, it was really just an introduction to my channel, basically saying like, hi, I'm here, this is what I'm doing. In that video, I actually talked about how I wanted to create videos that are catered towards a curly hair audience. Like I said in that video, that's not all I want to do, but that's a big part of why I wanted to make a channel. So I'm starting that with today's video, which is my curly hair journey. I just wanted to share my experience and how I kind of started on the curly girl method, and basically how I went from having really short damaged hair to the hair I have now, which right now it's still drying, so it's a little bit flat, but it's just like a lot healthier, a lot longer, and I know how to take care of it a lot better. So I want to share that with you today. So I've broken this video down into two parts. The first is me basically explaining my experience, my story. The second half is kind of what you should do if you want to start your curly hair journey, or if you want to improve the growth, definition, and health of your, I'd say curly hair just because I have curly hair, but these tips honestly work for any sort of hair type, because it's just genuinely about the health of your hair. So starting off with my experience, so I've lived in Singapore my entire life. So growing up, I've had to deal with constant humidity. That was always the biggest challenge to my hair. I grew up where I basically just had bottles and bottles and bottles of anti-frizz serum, which honestly doesn't do anything for your hair. It did not prevent frizz. It just did not work. So all throughout middle school, that's what I used. I do just want to have like a really quick side note. I was using serums, like anti-frizz serums by brands like L'Oreal. That was my first mistake, because I bought curly hair products from brands that cater to like straight hair, then have like a little section for curly hair. The biggest difference in finding the right hair products is buying from brands that 100% cater to girls with curly hair or guys with curly hair. Because if you're buying curly hair products from a company that only has a small amount of products for curly hair, they're only putting like a minimum amount of care or effort into those products, which means that they're not going to be good for your hair. They're not going to actually do anything for your hair. So then moving into high school. So when I was younger, middle school, I had extremely long curly hair. Beginning of my freshman year, I just basically just chopped it to about like collarbone length, and immediately just cutting that much hair off, I saw an immediate change in the quality of my hair. It definitely got a lot more curly, defined, and that's kind of a given, because for curly hair, the more you cut, the more shrinkage there is, which basically means the shorter your hair, the tighter the curls. That's not a perfect science, of course, because everyone's a little bit different, but like for me, what I've noticed, the longer my hair, the heavier my hair gets, so it expands my curls. Shorter it is, the more they bounce up. At that point in time, I had pretty curly short hair, and that's when I discovered coconut oil. I used to buy like the big jars of coconut oil from like cold storage, and just every single day when I was doing my hair, I would just rake coconut oil through my hair. That was absolutely like terrible. It worked, but looking back on it, I kind of like cringe at it, because I just know how bad that actually is for your hair. It definitely did work for me, because the coconut oil does have a lot of benefits to your hair, and you should still use coconut oil. I'll get into that later on, but the way I was using it was just really bad. Sorry if the lighting or the angle just changed. I just had to stop the video because someone made a fake Snapchat account and is trying to pretend to be me and is adding my friends. So I had to just go deal with that. So back on to talking about coconut oil. So yeah, I used coconut oil religiously from probably about beginning of freshman year to beginning of junior year. And beginning of junior year is kind of when my hair really just died. Up until this point, I never had damaged hair, but I just was still struggling to just get good non-frizzy defined curls. beginning of junior year, I got my hair cut and I had them straighten it after. The only times I ever really straightened my hair were when I got haircuts. And I went to the same place that I had been going to for years. So I probably got my hair straightened every 5-6 months, not often at all. And I don't want to get super into this because I do want to make a completely different video about damage, but just the gist of it was I got permanent heat damage after one session of straightening my hair. And that just absolutely destroyed my hair. My hair was not curling. It was so dry, so damaged, and it took me probably about 7 or 8 months to fully recover from that. I had to basically grow a new head of hair because it was so damaged. It just wouldn't curl. So I got a haircut like every 3-4 weeks until eventually all the hair on my head was new hair. And it's just even more upsetting because it was like a one-time occurrence. It wasn't like I was straightening my hair every day. But I don't want to rant on too much about that. So during this period, this is when I really started to get into the curly hair journey, the curly girl method, because this is when I like really needed to. So I started doing a lot more research on different types of curly products, how I should be taking care of my curly hair, how to get my curls back, that sort of stuff. And eventually, like when I actually got like fresh hair back, I started to really be able to implement these methods, and that's how I was able to see a lot of growth, a lot of definition. My hair became a lot more healthy. Even when it was really short, when it was like newly grown out, it still was really healthy compared to what it had been before. So like obviously like that experience of literally getting my hair fried was awful, but I guess like the silver lining is that kind of forced me to dive into the curly girl world. And I mean, like now my hair is definitely better than it had ever been before that experience. So that's kind of my experience. And now I like the overall summary of my experience. And now I want to just kind of talk about like what I learned and what tips I implemented that actually allowed me to grow my hair quite long compared to what it used to be, and just like how I got like definition and everything. So the first tip I just want to talk about is staying away from heat. I have not straightened my hair since the beginning of junior year, so it's been almost a year and a half, or it's been almost 2 years. Yeah, I guess like over a year and a half, close to 2 years. But I just stay away from straightening my hair. I'm terrified to do it now. And if you're trying to transition from having damaged hair, or even just starting to be very good about taking care of your curly hair, the number one thing is to stay away from heat. The next thing I want to talk about are oils. So I know early in the video I was like, coconut oil bad. Well, it's bad as a styling tool, but as a treatment, it's actually really, really good for your hair. There's a variety of different oils that are really good for curly hair. My two favorite are castor oil and coconut oil. So coconut oil is really good for holding in moisture and just moisturizing, hydrating your hair in general. And then castor oil is really good for hair growth. I like to use these two oils as treatment masks. I never leave it in my hair as a styling product. I always will wash it out. For coconut oil, I'll usually heat up the oil because when you put hot oil onto your hair will open up the same way like pores on your face would if you put hot water on your face. So by opening it up, the hot oil will like seep into your hair and actually go into each strand of your hair as opposed to just sitting on top of the hair. So you'll just see better results from hot oil treatments as opposed to just oil treatments. With castor oil I don't heat up because I don't put on my entirety of my head. I just focus it on my scalp because the way I use castor oil is to promote hair growth, and it's definitely just a really, really good product to use when you're trying to grow your hair long. Something that's really, really important to note is make sure you actually know what your hair type is. There's like many different types of like curly hair. There's like wavy, curly, coily, and kinky. Those are like the four main categories. So then within that, there are even more divisions. So I have 3B hair. It kind of varies depending on what like scale I'm looking at, but if you literally just Google curly hair types, you're gonna see like a chart that gives you images, and then you basically just have to figure out what you look most similar to. Again, if you've been using a lot of heat on your hair and you have damage, you might think you're 2B hair, but you might actually be 3B. So just keep in mind that your hair might actually become more defined and produce tighter curls the further into your curly hair journey you are. But yeah, just understanding what type of curl pattern you have is super important, because that way you're gonna know what products work for you the best. Something I also wanted to cover was understanding the different types of products. Like before I talk about products, I just wanna say, if you're really just getting into your curly hair journey, you're probably gonna spend a lot of money on products, because like the first products you buy might not work for you. I remember the first line of curly hair products I bought in my like post damage journey was just like the entire Shea Moisture coconut and hibiscus line. I use one product from that line still. Those products are great, they're just not the best for me. You're probably gonna have a similar experience of trial and error, but I do want to talk about like the different types of products. So then like my 4 categories of like products are like wash day products, stylers, holds, and like treatments. So wash day products are like shampoos, conditioners, deep conditioners. And shampoo is kind of like a bit of a weird conversation in like the curly girl world. If you have curly hair, you should not be shampooing your hair every day. I don't even wash my hair like with like rinse in the shower on the daily basis. I usually do that every other day or every 3rd day, depending on how active I am in those few days. But it's super important to know that you should not be shampooing your hair on the daily basis, because you're going to absolutely strip your scalp of all the essential oils that curly hair needs. So don't wash your hair on the daily basis. And then with that said, there's different types of shampoos. I personally just use like a normal clarifying curly hair shampoo. Some curly girls will use clarifying shampoos. Some will do like a co-wash. I'm just gonna voice over because I want to clarify what co-washing is a little bit. Basically, co-washing means instead of actually using a shampoo, occasionally you will go in and use a cleansing conditioner. So there are certain products that actually eliminate the need for shampoo, because the benefits or purpose of a shampoo are added into a conditioner. There are just many different types of shampoo products you should use, but you should not be using like just typical L'Oreal shampoo. You want to make sure whatever shampoo you're using, it's catered to girls with curly hair. And then conditioner is the same sort of thing. Just make sure you're using a curly hair specific conditioner. That's pretty straightforward. Deep conditioners are kind of a different conversation. I probably use a deep conditioner once or twice a week, depending on how dry my hair is. I feel like a lot of people skimp on deep conditioner. Just they think, oh, I'm using conditioner, why do I need to use deep conditioner? Well, you do. Deep conditioner basically just is so much stronger than normal conditioner. Again, I'm just going to clarify with a voiceover. Basically, with deep conditioners, by using them, you gradually improve the health of your hair by reducing frizz and reducing dryness. This permanent change cannot be solved with conditioners alone. That's why you need deep conditioners as well. But just shampoo, conditioner, and deep conditioner are probably like the 3 products you need for your wash, so like your shower products. Moving on to stylers. The main 2 categories of stylers would be cream and gel stylers. For me, I use both. I start with a cream and then use a gel. The way I kind of see these 2 products, cream stylers kind of hold moisture in your hair and then start to form your clumps of curls. So if you put it through your hair and then comb it through with like a wet brush or a Denman brush, you'll start to see curls form. But then gels will hold the curls together and help just keep definition with your hair. And I, again, want to make like an entire video talking about my favorite products for creams and gels, but just know that those are basically the main 2 stylers. And then hold products are like things like mousse. I typically use mousse in my hair, and I find that I like to use it after my hair has dried just a little bit, and it just helps encase all of the product in your hair and help just form that hold in your curls. And then the last category of products are just like treatments. So this is like masks. They're like products you can get for buildup So like when you're not shampooing your hair so often, sometimes you get product buildup. So there are different products that you can get to help get rid of a lot of that product buildup. Just overall, some of my favorite brands for products are Cantu, Shea Moisture, Miss Jessie's, Not Your Mother's. These 4 cater specifically to girls with curly hair, so it checks that box. They're also all relatively affordable. I'd say Cantu is probably the most affordable out of those 4. And then I think Miss Jessie's the least. And also what's really good about these brands, their products are paraben free, sulfate free, silicone free for the most part. When you're shopping for curly hair products, you really want to be avoiding products with parabens, silicones, and sulfates, because those are just awful on curly hair. And again, when you buy from curly hair specific brands, they're typically going to already have those eliminated. Whereas if you're buying from a brand that mostly caters to straight hair but then has some products for curly hair, they're not going to have the same care in getting rid of stuff like silicone and sulfates. So just another reason why it's super important to just go to brands that are curly hair specific. So that's kind of my spiel on products. The last thing I want to talk about are just haircuts, because a curly haircut is a lot different than a normal straight haircut. I know for girls with straight hair, typically you wash your hair, they like will blow dry, they'll cut it, blow dry it, kind of sort of thing. So for haircuts for girls with curly hair, you do not want to be cutting your hair wet. Okay, get your hair cut when it's dry, because when you get it cut when it's wet, when it dries, it could be a lot shorter than you intended. And also, you should never be cutting your curly hair like straight like this. You should be cutting each individual curl itself, because all your curls look different. Like in my hair, different curls have different patterns, different curls curl different ways. So if I'm just cutting it straight like this, it's going to look terrible. So I know a lot of places, especially in the US, have hair salons that are catered to girls with curly hair, and they know how to do all of that. But for me, living in Singapore, there are just no places for me to get a curly girl specific haircut. So I actually cut my own hair most of the time, and I do want to do a video on that as well, because I think that's super important to just know how to do. So that's basically it for my video. I hope this was super helpful. This was basically just the information I first got when I started my curly hair journey. And like I mentioned in the video, I have a lot of different ideas for videos that I want to do on curly hair, just because like these are the type of videos I watched when I was starting my journey, and I found that they were really helpful for me, so I want to make them as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more curly hair content.